Welcome, everybody, to episode 6 of Fresh Towels, live from New York City. We back, and it's like summertime out there. I got to bring out my jean jacket. I was never a jean jacket guy, but when the jean jackets are at the J. Crew factory outlet, I will partake. We're back in the studio. So much has happened since we've been here. We have Big Mike on the controls with us today, who survived a major ski trip.
I did, yeah. I'm alive.
I thought for sure you were going to come back with some. That's a lot of force going down the hill.
Buddy, 300 pounds of hot steel going down a cold mountain.
Man, you going down the hill, your skis are probably like...
No, my knees definitely were, though. That was a tough... I took a lesson, a one-on-one private lesson. And
Is that the first time you've ever went?
Never even seen a ski slope in my life in person. Only been on, like, maybe in the far distance on an airplane or something.
Good for you.
And the guy told me I was a natural, and he said that
How much did you pay him?
$100. And I slapped him a loony and said, "Hey, tell me I'm good." This is why I think he did good with me, is because his niche is teaching skiing to blind people. And that's a real thing. He's like a disability ski instructor. So you have like one leg, you can't see, your feet are backwards, whatever it is. That's his specialty. And so I think when I showed up for the lesson, they were like, get the guy who knows how to do idiots. And I could barely stand up. Like I kept falling, standing up and going, just moving.
Yeah,
I was
tough.
fine. Yeah. But then by day 2, I was flying. My girlfriend's brother is like, he skis, like her whole family skis like crazy. And he was waiting on me because we went down on my first actual day skiing after my lesson. And I flew by him. And then he got down to the bottom. He goes, "I didn't know that was you." He goes, "I've been waiting up there for you." But I was kicking, yeah. I figured out how to ski stop, like this hockey stop, and that was it. Yeah, once you figure that out.
If you know how to stop in skates, it helps a lot.
I cannot skate, ice skate, stop.
There's something very satisfying about when you get it in skiing, when you have a little bit of control. I'm not a good skier by any stretch, but I'm a good casual skier.
Sure.
I can do the groomed trails.
Yeah.
I can have myself a good old time. But the thing where people get in trouble, I wish there were a statistic to back me up, but I bet a majority of ski accidents are when people like us go out with people like your brother-in-law or your brother's girlfriend's brother, who are just better than you, and then you try to keep up. And I've gone on ski trips where I remember the name of the trail. That's how pissed off I was. My friend Greg was like, "Oh yeah, you can come with us on this ski trip to Colorado." And then the people who were as good as me canceled. So it was me and like 3 guys who were like Olympic skiers, and they're like, "Yeah, come on down the Wizard of Oz trail." I remember getting off the lift. I'm on the top of the mountain. There's moguls and trees.
Moguls look like pure death to me.
I swear to God, there's birds sitting down in the middle of it. I'm coming down this
Watching?
thing. Yeah, just looking at me, taking notes. I had to walk down the hill because some of these advanced trails, there's no way out. And that's where people, I think, get hurt. Because you're like, "Oh, screw it. I'll just go down as fast as I can." And then you hit a fucking tree.
Yeah, I mean, a real issue with what I was seeing was because I went on the bunny slope, but they call that the magic carpet now. I think that's like that's the new way of
Why is
I don't know.
Offensive to bunnies?
I have no idea. Maybe just because it seems too childish and like adults don't want to learn.
But they call it the magic carpet?
I don't know, man. But
there's not even the bunny slope is supposed to, because it looks like the back of a rabbit's ass, right? It's very like
it's like 20 feet up. It's not even like a real hill. It's just like this tiny little slope down. But the guy brought me up the first time we went up. We go down, we go back up again, go down, and then he goes, "I think you're ready for the real
deal,
the real mountain." And I go, "Dude," I have no ego when it comes to this. Like, you keep me up here all day if you want. Like, if you think I can go up there, great. But I'm not here to like impress anybody. I just want to actually figure out how to do this. Because her whole family skis, and I want to be a part of that. And he goes. I was in Canada, like way up in Mont Tremblant in Canada.
That
which
sounds like a fancy mountain.
Very French. Which people from like, you're not French. Stop it. Just stop with
They're
the
like
French.
loopy French.
Yeah, they're like.
If you took someone from France and put them in the microwave, it's like
Yeah, real French people go, "That is not French." You know, they're very weird about it. But he was a very nice guy. Name's Eric. I'll never forget him. And he goes, "I got his number. We've been texting."
texting about skiing.
Yeah,
Just ski stuff.
ski stuff. And then he goes, "Don't." I go, "Dude, I don't want to go up if I'm not ready." And he goes, "Then I tell you, I had 2 people here for earlier, before you. We spent 2 hours on the magic carpet. They never left carpet." He goes, "If you're not ready, you're not ready." I don't know why he's Middle Eastern
He's
all
Middle
of a
East.
sudden.
I was like, what is he from Morocco?
Magic carpet got me all thrown off. I was doing an Aladdin impression.
What does he sound? He looks like he's like selling you spices at a bazaar.
But then I went pizza French fries all the way down the
Pizza
hill
French
once.
fries, yeah.
Went back up with them, and then I was actually starting to like feel it a little bit. And then I
Carve
went
it
up,
out.
but then my lesson was over, and I went up by myself, survived. And then a day or two later, I went up, I like bought a pass and did my own skiing, rented skis, and it was a blast, dude. I genuinely thought I was going to take a lesson, and I was just going to, smoke
Chill.
weed and drink beers the rest of the time. And I cannot wait to ski again. I've been looking up ski suits because I was also wearing
They have a
like
place right here, right in Midtown. There's a ski supply store right over here on 3rd Avenue.
Jiggy, you know what kind of money we make in this place. I'm not going to Fifth Avenue ski store. I'm
3rd Avenue, 3rd Avenue.
I'm waiting for REI to do their end of year clearance so I can use a gift card. Okay, I have a gift card.
You're gonna get the ski stuff in July.
I'm gonna get the end of season. We got to get this stuff out of here. And plus, we only carry one XX. Like that's what I need.
That's also a telltale sign of who's just starting out in skiing is the hodgepodge equipment. Like when I first started skiing, I was in high school, and I looked forward to it because they had a yearly ski trip, and I was like, I have to learn how to ski to go on this ski trip. And my mom had skis, so I used my mom's skis and boots and my mom's early 90s ski suit.
Yeah.
My mom's like, no, you could totally fit into this, which I could, but it was all women's
I don't know what that
gear.
says about you or your mom.
My mom was like, listen, it fits. The ski boots fit, everything fit. But then I had this like kind of slick early 90s flamboyant, bright neon suit, but like with house gloves and like a house scarf and a rented helmet. And everyone's like, this guy's new. And every single time I fell, there was no like, oh, he tumbled. Like I would go all out. Like when I hit a bump, it was, what do they call it, garage sale? Like I would not just like fall down on the slope gently. It would be both skis off. The boots would be hanging off from the fucking my ankles. My helmet's off. My gloves are off. Everything scattered through the mountain. Like I went down hard every time.
I was wearing a hodgepodge as well. I mean, I had my jacket, it was a J. Crew, it's a waterproof jacket, so they were like, that's fine. But then I was wearing overalls, like an oil rigger in like North Dakota would wear, the Carhartts. They were not ski pants, but they were because they were warm and they fit. But I didn't have ski pants.
Those were like jeans?
No, they were like it's like a khaki, like a commercial khaki kind of material.
Oh, but that can get wet.
Insulated, yeah. But your boy's not falling. That was my goal.
That's hard to believe.
That was I fell 3 times, and all 3 times I fell because I stopped. Like I stopped to like take a break, because my thighs were just burning, dude.
Yeah.
Like that was what kept me stopping. I would stop at a standstill, and then I would gradually start sliding backwards because I couldn't stop.
Yeah,
and then I would like tumble back just from standing still. Like standing still was the hardest part for me.
Those
on the
sometimes,
skis.
or getting started again when you're mid hill.
Yeah.
Is tough.
And then I fell sliding backwards, and I decided to take a dive. Like the first time I fell, I gotta bail on standing. So I threw myself down because I was going to start sliding backwards, and who the fuck knows what was going to happen to me. So I was like, I just like tumbled myself over. Skis go flying off. I put one ski on, and I couldn't get the other ski on because it was on this weird angle, like down the hill.
Snow gets into the boot.
And the boot's like up to my knee, and I can't bend it. And then I'm bending to try to get it clicked in. And then I fell to the right. Like then I started tumbling, just trying to put my goddamn ski on.
Yeah.
But then, he got to it. So I fell not from skiing. I fell from the repercussions of stopping.
The ski trips when we were in high school that I was training for
Sure.
that's when we grew up the fastest in my school. That's where everything kind of happened. The 9th grade ski trip, actually we did it in middle school as well, But the 8th grade, 9th grade ski trip, 10th grade, they started to lose people. I don't even think they did ski trips anymore
Right.
after the 10th grade because you had a license at that point. So
Oh, a driver's license.
You had
so
a driver's
you weren't
license.
forced to be do the school
you
bullshit.
could like drive to a mountain if you wanted to. But
Right.
the 9th grade ski trip, that was the oldest that you could be, where it was kind of where most of the school went, most of the kids went, and that was the most fun I think I had in like a school environment. And I remember the security measures that they had to keep everyone in order. You went out to the mountain, which what a fucking liability, by the way, looking back at like bringing 150 kids to a ski slope. But at night, they would tape you into your room. And that was like a little piece of tape was what the security measure was.
Oh, just to see if you left or not. Not to
Right.
keep you locked. I thought they were
No,
like duct
no.
taping the door shut so you're like, let me out.
No, I think that would be a fire hazard.
and kidnapping.
They did a piece of tape on the door, which they would try to put the fear in you that, like, if you open this door, it will break the tape seal and you'll get in trouble for leaving the room when we tell you not to leave the room.
Sure.
So that was the measure that we had to get around. So then people are jumping out of windows.
Yeah,
like,
really,
I don't know
forgot
what
to tape we're on the 8th floor. Just tying sheets together.
These are like ski lodge type hotels.
Yeah.
So, you're on the 1st or 2nd floor. So people are like jumping out of windows or coming out, and tying the sheets and just so they can go hang out with each other. And the tape on the door I don't think actually worked. I mean, you could have also just had someone look at the doors or be on patrol or something.
Yeah.
But they went
Yeah.
with the tape method, which I'm not sure if they still do that. It doesn't seem very effective.
Did anyone ever get in trouble?
Oh, I think I did.
You think?
I'm pretty sure I
But in
got
trouble, like you got caught. They're like, "Don't do that again." Slap on the wrist, or did you
Yeah.
get like real consequences?
No, not real consequences. But I think there were kids, especially on that 9th grade trip. We did it in middle school, now that I remember, and in that 9th grade year.
Yeah.
In the 9th grade years when kids were like smoking weed and like I never did any of that stuff. But there were kids who got
Wow.
like in weed trouble in that 9th grade ski trip. And that seemed insurmountable to get out of that.
Oh.
Especially in the early 2000s, like weed trouble was pretty serious.
I went on my senior year or junior year of high school. I went on a track and field to the national whatever
The
high
national-
school track and field thing in Orlando at Disney at the sports complex.
Oh yeah, wide world of sports.
Yeah, and long story short, my room that I was assigned, everyone brought pot, mushrooms, coke. Like they were going.
How old were you?
I was in high school. I was a junior in high school.
Buying coke
I was
and
not.
mushrooms?
I was not. Now I smoked pot. I drank like a fish. Like I've always been able to separate. Like this is not what we should be doing. Like this is too
That's
risky.
too far.
Like this is too risky. And like one guy had a box, like a magician. He had like a click box open up, and there's all these like drugs. It looked like a movie.
A pigeon comes out.
And magically he was expelled. But as soon as that happened, and then like they started sneaking in the girl trainers into the
Oh.
room, and I was like, I love this stuff, but you guys are being loud and sloppy.
Like the teachers?
No. The student trainers, like they had
Oh.
like the
They
water
had
girls.
student trainers?
Yeah, it was a thing. I don't know, but anyway. So as soon as they started doing that, I was like, I gotta switch.
That's-
I gotta switch rooms. So in the moment, I had to make a decision of being like, are they gonna call me a pussy, or am I gonna save my life? And so I was like, I gotta go, and I like packed my shit and just went to another room.
That's
and then
smart.
later that night, they all got caught. They all got suspended from school. A lot of them lost athletic scholarships.
Yeah.
Like crazy shit happened because of that. And I was like, what a decision to make. And I had nothing to lose. So I was probably the only one there that I had no scholarship. So I was probably the only one that should have stayed. But a lot of them got really fucked because of that. And so I was just like, man, this is so stupid.
Knowing when to leave is a sixth sense that I
think so.
quickly learned, especially in college too, because I had some athletic money, and I remember a couple of times where kids in my school were like, "Yeah, there's going to be drugs, and we're going to get strippers to come over to the house." I'm like, I'll probably just not do that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be in drug stripper type.
But
trouble.
you were at school because of baseball. Like baseball money got you there. Like scholarship stuff helped you get into that school. Is that the idea?
No, I earned an athletic scholarship. I played 4 years, and I came in without athletic money, but then
Got it.
I earned athletic money.
So you had something to lose. And a lot of those
Sure.
people, a lot of the people at that school were had like, a lot of them were regular people, but a lot of them were incredibly wealthy
Yeah.
families.
Yeah.
at
There
that
was
school.
one story from my college that a fraternity got kicked off campus, and the next week the kid's dad was like the CEO of like Panasonic, and there was like 450 new like Panasonic televisions
love it.
throughout the campus, and there were so many TVs that like every room had a television. Like you'd go in and like the bathroom had like a full HD TV, and this
Yeah.
was 2006 or 7, where a flat screen TV was like $3,000.
And his kid magically didn't have to go to class all the time,
It's like,
but
oh my
still
god,
made it out of
wow,
college.
I guess we're doing this graffiti party back on campus again. And then you're like, hold on, let me check what's going on campus. There's a TV right here. Every fucking dorm room had one.
That's crazy.
It was insane. Every single there was just flat screens everywhere. But that was an example of like, yeah, this kid and this fraternity got in trouble, and then
Didn't matter.
magically this kid's CEO dad just like that.
Wasn't the daughter of Morgan and Morgan or something, or one of those big TV lawyers?
So the Central Florida is home to Morgan and Morgan.
But it's not that one. It's the other one.
Well, my friend worked. His dad worked for that firm. It was like pretty high up, and I remember one night.
Ken Nugent.
Oh gosh, I
His
don't know.
daughter went to Rollins.
There was
Because mutual friend of ours went there as well, and he used to tell me about how crazy that chick was.
there were so many. It's almost hard to pinpoint of in the worst way possible. By the way, not defending it, but there's so many stories of like, do you know who my dad is? Which is just the worst, intolerable. I went out one night and I'm smashed, and we're at like this college bar downtown Orlando, and John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan, like the dad, the OG, the guy in all the commercials. He's at this college bar. Like it's a college bar, like a girl on a swing, and you know, it's not a place.
Mako's in downtown Orlando.
Mako's.
Yep,
It's
I
long
remember
gone.
it. I remember it. I used to.
I went on that swing a few times.
I might have watched some guys take shots off of women's bellies back to back to back. That was disgusting, but I used to love it.
John Morgan is there, and I'm like, oh my god, and like I'm smashed, and I'm like, there's no way this guy who's on every billboard in Orlando, has 9,000 commercials on, is at the bar, and we get shots, and I'm like, I got to get shots for this guy. So me and the other baseball guys, we buy shots for him, and he's like alone. It's just John Morgan.
I think I had a problem.
He takes the shot. We all raise our little shot glasses, and I look him straight in the eyeballs, and I go, "For the people," like this. And it was like I gave him $1 million. He lit up. He lit up. He was so pumped, and we did that shot together, and I felt like I was really part of the Orlando community.
He's apparently he's not ever like he's permanently suspended from having a driver's license in Florida because of how many DUIs he's had.
And maybe his driver was there too.
No, for sure. That's definitely a thing I heard. Who knows if it's true? But that was like a big Orlando like rumor mill that like he'll never drive again in Florida.
His kids, he has a couple of sons who are around our age, and I remember they were floating around. I think one of them went to Rollins too. I had a friend from Boston who came down to Florida, and really good guy, salt of the earth guy. His dad's like a state trooper in Massachusetts, heavy Boston accent, huge jacked fucking dude. And he comes down to Orlando. He wants to get work, and I'm in school, and he sleeps on our floor as he goes through bartending school, and he's like flipping glasses in our house, like
working at
best.
a TGI Fridays on by Mall of Millennia.
He gets his bartender's license, and he gets a job at Mako's, and they put him in a kilt, and he works shirtless. You know, he's just this big ripped dude behind the bar. It's all like hot chicks and this guy, and they call him the Shamrock. And he works for an entire year as the Shamrock at this bar.
What years are these?
This is 2000. He worked as the Shamrock from 2009 to like 2010.
Yeah.
So it was my senior year of college through the year I graduated. And he's working as a Shamrock, kind of like low key. He's like moonlighting as a Shamrock character. He doesn't tell anyone about the nickname.
Why would you?
You know? So he moves out. He was sleeping on my floor, moves out. He's got this job. I graduate. our mutual friend Gene gets married in 2010, and we're doing his bachelor party, and we're walking down the streets of Orlando, and we pass Makos with my buddy, and he had just quit. And so we're walking down the street, and everyone from Makos yells out, "It's the Shamrock!" And we're like, dude, what are they talking about? And he goes, "Oh, yeah, just keep going, just keep going." So he goes back and does a couple of celebrity shifts. Long story short, he burns himself because at Makos, they used to do these fire shots, and they would lay the Shamrock down on top of the bar, and they would put, like, rubbing alcohol, whatever they did, or maybe it was just booze, on his stomach. They'd light it on fire, and then it would go out, and you would do like these shots off his body. And he does.
Women would lick.
It was some fire trick that they would lay the Shamrock
weird.
down. And in hindsight, this should not have been ever happening.
This hygiene is not up to code.
No, but like, you're just a busy night. And someone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh God, I gotta do another fucking fire blaze shot," whatever it was called. They'd lay him down, they'd light him on fire, and then they would get the shot out of his belly button or whatever it was. So he must have done this 100 times, but he does it one time, and the fire doesn't go out, and he gets like real like 3rd-degree burns on his stomach, and that was the end of the Shamrock. He never did it again.
Oh, the Shamrock shimmied right out of Makos.
He shammied right out of Makos.
Can I go
long
back
gone.
and tell you a story about Morgan & Morgan? I looked it up.
Yeah.
So this is a story from the Orlando Weekly.
A trusted publication in Orlando. Only the best.
Morgan & Morgan, the guy, faced up to 5 years in prison and jail. 5 years in jail after being charged with battery on a police officer. According to reports, he twice headbutted, then hit with his left hand a Castleberry police officer who pulled him over on suspicion of DUI.
He headbutted?
He smashed that big round head of his into a cop trying to get out of it. And then but of course he's Morgan & Morgan. So
could you imagine? I mean, he must. How many times do you think he said, "Do you know who I am"?
Well, the officer reported that Morgan also verbally assaulted him with taunts of baldy and fat fucker. He kept yelling that.
Is he talking about himself?
He was looking in the rearview mirror. So he faced a litany of felony battery charges as well as DUI and other minor traffic incidents. But obviously, he got out of everything.
Well, I say all that. Very nice guy.
I
thought he was the nicest guy.
But just because you got
I got.
heavy mental problems doesn't mean you're not a nice person.
I had a wonderful evening with him at Makos, and when I say with him, it was 2.5 minutes of doing a shot, and it's a
made his
lasting
night.
impact.
He didn't remember that night at all, but that night he did have a good time.
He did have a good time.
Yeah.
It could have been the night that he drove through Castleberry, which, and for reference, is not the best part of Orlando either.
God, no.
Castleberry is where like the Ross is.
It's where it's in between the good neighborhoods.
That's true. It's in between College Park and Winter
downtown,
Park.
yeah. Or Winter
Or-
Park, yeah. It's kind of in that weird 3-corner area.
Yeah.
I love talking Orlando. It's been so long since I've been down there. And I forget that I know, like, I have friends that used to live there around the same time I was there.
I never went. People thought that when I went to school down there that I was like working for Disney, or I must have dated a Disney. You know how many times people ask me if I dated a Disney princess?
I think people from outside of Florida, it's like New York. It's like
They're like,
people
"Have you ever dated a Disney princess? You went to school down there." I'm like, first of all, that's like 1 in a million. Like, what would be
Yeah.
the chances that?
I wish.
Yeah, where's one that you? How would I find her?
Yeah.
You think I'm just scouting through the Disney parks and just like, hey, by the way, after you sign my fucking autograph book?
What are you doing? I was friends with a Goofy.
Yeah,
I knew a Goofy that would also
a tall gentleman or lady.
No,
Must have been taller. Goofy.
he was a tall guy.
The Goof is tall.
He was a tall guy, and he used to get into a lot of troubles at the bars. He would wait tables and bartend with me, and then he was also Goofy.
That's
well.
what a life.
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah.
be a character at one of the parks.
His name was Martin, and he would introduce himself to people at the restaurant. "Hello, my name is Martin, and I will be taking you on your food journey tonight." He was a strange man. Strange man.
I feel like I've had him as a waiter.
It's possible. Did you ever go to Sam Sneed's on Hiawassee?
I have.
That's where I used to work.
Sam Sneed's.
I lived across the street. I'd walk back and forth.
Oh man, I remember I did an investor meeting there. I started this little company when I was in college, and I was like, I was looking.
I might have waited tables on you. I used to have those type of groups all the time come in.
I was desperately trying to get like $10,000,
Sure.
which When I was 21, $10,000 felt like $400 million.
Oh, it's the more money than you've
And
ever.
I remember I would take these kids out, Rollins kids out for like investor meetings,
I love
where
it.
I'd be like, I need $2,500. Where I felt like if I could seal the deal, you know, I'd be.
What were you investing in? What was like?
So I had this this company that was it was a college party company, and my idea was to create a website where I would list all the different college parties, and I would write about the new music scene, and I would get the bars. It would be like a college bar guide.
You were going to be BuzzFeed before BuzzFeed. You were
Yeah.
going to be College Humor. You were going to be.
College humor is a good. It was like college humor, but it was more localized. So I guess my
Right.
idea was to be like every version of this site would have like you would go to this site and it would be you could be your homepage for your school. So it would be like the Rollins homepage, the UCF homepage, and you'd see what are the parties going on, what are like some fun gossipy columns. It was almost like an elementary version of like Barstools, but not good.
Hey, you got to start somewhere. That's actually not the worst idea I've heard
No.
of. I mean, especially then. Now that might be a little too.
It was
Too.
and I threw parties. I threw
Oh, that's right. You and DJ PJ used to be the party guys.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I threw some back to school parties after I graduated, like 2010's back to school party, 2011's back to school party. I threw at a big club in downtown Orlando, and I
Did you feel
rented the club.
weird?
No,
You didn't feel old?
no. I felt like I was a businessman,
Okay.
and I was using my knowledge that I had at the time to make some money. And I threw
love it.
these big parties at campus, and I brought bands in, and it. I had some things that made some money, and I had some ideas, and things shifted. It ended. The last idea of this company was I actually think it was a good idea. I think it was maybe too early for it, but this is 2010 and 2011, so iPhone just came out, and the idea was to have an app on your phone for these college towns that were digital punch cards for places like smoothie shops and bars
Sure.
and restaurants. So you would open up the app and you would scan a QR code when you go in, and when you scan the QR code, it would put a digital punch on a digital punch card instead of having to like actually punch them.
These are all
And
great ideas.
And then you keep all the punch cards on your phone.
You were pre QR code.
I made it. I made
Yeah.
the app. The app existed, and we were in like a
Really?
bunch of
was it
places.
called?
It was called the Swizzer app, which is probably I don't even think you can find it anymore.
Swizzer, SWIZZER.
Yeah, the site is definitely down, but it was an app that it was just digital punch cards, and you'd go in, and I had to create all these safety measures so that you could only scan once within like 30 feet of the place. You couldn't just sit there and scan it, and yeah, it was a thing. But QR codes at the time it was like a learning curve. Like people didn't really understand how to use the QR code, and like there was a lot of resistance. The places didn't exactly know how to use it.
Is it possibly a social app to get things done the Swizzer way? Was that you?
It doesn't sound like a line I would come up with.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me see.
Swizzer.
It had like an apple as the
No,
logo.
no,
It was
that's
like an
not it.
apple. I doubt that there's any even pictures of it anymore.
No, I mean there is a new Swizzer app called Vetrified Titles, but that's
I'm trying to see.
it's been scrubbed, dude.
Yeah.
The Swizzer's been scrubbed.
Swizzer's off. I don't think you can even find it anymore. But I thought it was a pretty decent idea, and I built the app. And I spent my own money, and that was
Did you lose money ultimately, or
again at the time it felt like a lot of money, but it was I spent. This was my my lifeguard money. I graduated
Oh.
school, so I was like hustling people at the pool and making cabana boy money.
yeah?
And I put that money in there, and I had a couple of my friends who put some money in, and we never really made any money, but it was not. It wasn't like I lost $1 million. It was like $5 grand.
That was
10
your
grand.
that was your MBA in
Yeah. It-
learning how to do it and learning how not to do it.
I look back at those days fondly because I think I learned how to. I think it was like the early days of like producing events.
Mm-hmm.
I think I learned a lot from that. I think I learned just like outreach to different other businesses, just how to work with like an app designer, how to work with a website designer, how to approach a business. And I don't think I did everything right. I know I did everything pretty much wrong, but I learned a lot from that. And I think I've used some of those skills for comedy for sure.
Every time you and I talk, I realize how similar we are. Like just not only the fact that we both live in Orlando at the same time, right out of college, I was doing. I started an event company, Rocket Bird Productions.
Rocket Bird?
Rocket Bird.
Is that still around?
I mean, technically it is, but I have the tattoo of it on my arm.
No, let me see the tattoo.
I have to take my shirt off. I'll show you after the show. But we did events, and I did like street. I was doing like bar hopping events, like street festivals is what we called it. And so it would be like Christmas in July, where I'd get all these bars in this neighborhood, and we'd have snow machines everywhere, and I'd have a Santa Claus come out, like a real
Those are fun.
bearded Santa Claus. We did a Halloween one called Horror in the Highlands, which was like the name of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I hired the local, like one of the big haunted houses to bring all their characters out, like in their chainsaws, and they'd chase people around the neighborhood. And it was fucking awesome. And we made money, and then I had to make a decision: am I going to be an event guy, or am I going to do the thing I want to do, which is comedy?
It's interesting because I feel like a lot of kids, I won't call it the low-hanging fruit, but I think that your sphere of business or sphere of influence when you're 21 and you graduate and you want to be entrepreneurial and you want to try something is relatively small. So like you shoot for what you know. And I think it sounds like we both were like, well, I know these kids, I know what they like.
Yeah.
I know this town. How can I use the knowledge of knowing these kids and knowing this town, and also knowing that kids like to have a good time and like keeps you kind of in the school, keeps you young kind of feeling, you know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot of kids who do that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No, as long as you don't get stuck in an endless career of being a comedian.
Yeah.
Because you still don't want to have a real job, and at least that's my problem. I don't want to have a real job.
I was talking to my accountant yesterday, which was like, it was basically in a nutshell, the conversation was like, yeah, you're going to have to probably lean on your wife if you want to get a home. I was like, what?
Yep.
And she's like, it's not even about the money. It's just about a bank is like not going to want to give you money.
Sure.
She's like, I have clients who have like multi-million-dollar businesses, but because they're self-employed, my advice to them was go out and get a real job for 6 months and then get the house and then quit. It's just incredible how banking institutions and this isn't a comedy thing. It's just working for yourself or being entrepreneurial still in like in the world of mainstream finance is kind of like frowned upon because of how risky it is.
The system doesn't want you to succeed on your own. They want you to work within the system. So get a job. Oh, I paid rent for 15 years and I've never missed a rent payment, never been foreclosed on. That doesn't prove to the bank that I can make payments.
Doesn't matter.
Twice the amount that I'm supposed to pay. They just want to keep you. This is going to get real tinfoil hat, but like they want to keep you down. They want to keep you just paying into the system, and they don't want you to succeed. They really don't. Otherwise, rent should be considered collateral and credit towards the fact that
I'm surprised it doesn't.
It does not. Paying rent on time for however goddamn long you want, the bank does not see that as a reasonable person that they can trust to make a mortgage payment.
But it does within the renters community.
Well,
so you can use rent for rent purposes. Like if you move over if you're going to rent another place.
Oh, you can show rent history.
You can show rent history, which will get you somewhere, but doesn't get you anywhere in the house.
Ownership. Because ownership is leveling up, and then like
that was
the system
tough.
the system wants you to continue to just be a hamster.
But I was like,
wheel.
I'm pretty diligent and I try to save what I can, and I've worked with her to like set up little things like little investment accounts and save money. And I feel like I do like a pretty good job of that.
SIRAs, yeah.
I'll do whatever she tells me to do. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, you know?
Let me be clear. She takes my money and puts it in places that I can't touch.
She's like, yeah, you should do this. And I was like, okay. Whatever. So I realize I am an idiot. Like yesterday, she's like, yeah, you should send me a P&L for your business this year and a balance sheet. I'm like, oh, yeah, we got that. I was like, what?
Now, when you say P&L, how do you define that?
So tell me, like, when you usually see these P&Ls, what do they usually say? She was telling me about P&Ls and balance sheets, and like, I'm barely at the point where like I just feel comfortable making the money, never mind organizing it. So
Are you incorporated, or do you do it all under your own name?
So that was the thing that she moved me over. Like I started like a business, which is just me, last year because it was such a nightmare. When you're truly self-employed,
Yeah.
you're it's the worst way to get taxed. You get taxed.
You start
doubly.
$5,000 in the hole.
Well, because you have the self-employment tax, which people don't understand.
Oh, you want to work for yourself? The government needs $5,000 up front.
It's 15% more.
It's fucking crazy.
And so I made it, I incorporated or whatever, but then I have to go through and, dude, I just realized that accounting and numbers, it's just, last night I'm going through all my transactions and trying to put them into a P&L document, and I was instantly like, I could never fucking do this.
No.
And there's millions of accountants out there. There's millions of people who do accounting or bookkeeping, and I have a pretty simple operation. It's hee ha ha get paid, and it's like I'm putting together this document, and it was like you would have thought I was trying to put together like nuclear codes. I could not figure it out, and I'm dyslexic.
That doesn't help.
No. So anyway, I don't know how we got off of the taxes, but you know what I'm saying. It's tough, man. It was hard to hear that because I was like, man, I gotta rely on my my wife for a house.
I mean,
or
she's
for at
got
least
a
for
good
the
job,
loan.
though. That's the look. The beauty of being charming is that you can charm your way into a
loan.
into a better partner. You know,
for me
and me, I charmed my way into a well employed accountant. I'm with a good standing employee who is a Jewish accountant.
That's a good,
a Jewish CPA, and she's a cutie pie. Al Madrigal told me when I was on the road with him for a little bit, and I was like, oh, this bartender, this, and I'm like, oh, this waitress here, and he's like, you don't have to end up with a bartender, right? And it blew my mind. I was like, really? I go, I thought that you had to as a comic because that's all you're hanging around is bartenders, comics, and waitresses. He's like, no, you can marry up. I was like, I should work on that. And I stopped taking,
I think my wife knows that she's smart. She's definitely smarter than me. I mean, there's not even a question.
Sure. Well, it's some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I bring a little bit more of the entrepreneurial spirit, which is just more of like the moving and shaking. I can do that. I move and shake. I take some risks. I'll jump out there and move and shake. But when it comes to, life stuff, I mean, this is her new favorite thing, by the way, which I have not been able to live down. Started January 1st. We're in the second week of February. I've heard it, I don't know, 6,300 times already. I'm now on her health insurance with her company.
Good for you.
Which is actually way more expensive for me, but I get premium health insurance.
Yeah.
Because she's with like a big fashion company, so I get like great health insurance now. But all the paperwork states that I'm her dependent. And she will not let it go. The first time the paperwork comes in, she goes, well, it looks like our health insurance is all set for 2023. And it says, okay, my name and my dependent. And she just looked at me like, I'm never going to live this down. And she brings it up all the time.
But she's doing it in a fun way?
She's doing it in a fun way,
do you
but
think
she
that there's
knows.
something there where she
likes it. I think she likes it.
And good. You know what?
She likes
good.
to say that I'm dependent on her, and then it's in legal documents that I am her dependent.
I think that...
Which I was like, come on. This health insurance company can't just be like, this person and spouse. It makes it sound like I'm her child.
It does. Like she adopted you.
Yeah, like I am the adopted comedian.
Check your paperwork. Maybe she did adopt you and you're not married.
That's what it sounds like. It's like Rhea and her dependents. Like I'm a small child, hoping she gives me porridge.
No, I think
and it's expensive. It's way more expensive.
My response to that is because my girlfriend is way better than me. She's much more achieved as far as financial success, and she's much younger than me, which is even harder. But I'm like, we could go back to the old ways if you want. Like what would you rather have? The way we have it now, or I'll go get the nice fancy job, but then I'm going to be the guy that's the dickhead guy in the relationship that holds you down, thumb on you because I got the money. Like that's nature going to take over. So which one do you want? You can have it one way. You can't have it both.
Can't have it both
Yeah,
ways.
so you want to keep making fun of me because I'm your dependent? Cool. You can go get yourself a banker if you want, but then how fun is that going to be? The guy's going to have a heart attack in 2 years, and he's going to be in ruins in 3 because the financial institutions are going to fall apart. Which one do you want, babe?
I couldn't believe I watched that Bernie Madoff documentary,
I'm
which
in the
takes
middle of
place right here.
Yeah.
The whole
right
thing
there,
is
next
right
door.
here. It's next door. The building next door to us. The whole thing.
That's crazy.
A $65 billion Ponzi scheme right here on our
I know,
block.
it's so cool.
Couldn't believe it.
I'd love
All
to
right
start
here.
a Ponzi scheme. I wish I could be the head of an MLM or a Ponzi. I think
wrote
I could do it. I think I have the. I think that if the creator of humans' intention for me was to either run an MLM, a Ponzi scheme, or start a church where I just scam people out of their money. I think that's what I was supposed to do.
You're supposed to.
I think I was just supposed to scam people.
I went. It wasn't a Ponzi scheme, but it was definitely an MLM. I was during those transitional years. I think, in junior in college, and there was an MLM, a multi-level marketing company that it was this water or a pill that you put into water that makes your water. I don't know. It makes it
more watery.
No, it gives it some like juice. What is the thing? It makes it like alkaline. It was an alkaline water company, and there was all this hoopla around. You put this in, and like they were saying shit like, "Oh, disease can't live in an alkaline state," and it was a cult. And I went to a couple of the meetings where they're trying to recruit you, and like all these older guys are seeing dollar signs in me because they're like, oh, we got this 21-year-old kid and he's got access to his whole baseball team. So if we can get him in, you get all your baseball friends to sell the alkaline water. Then it moves up line to me. And I went to one of these.
It's never about sales. It's always about your downline.
Got to get the downline going. I wrote a treatment for a show called Downline. That's a whole nother thing.
Pretty good idea. Is it Kagan water?
No. Start with an S, I think.
There's a lot of them.
Alkaline pill. I think it was a pill. Max.
Yeah.
It was called Max XL. Look that up. MAXX. Max XL. Was that? It might be still out there. Max XL.
G-Max?
Alkaline.
Max International?
Maybe that. Let me see. I'm looking up Max International. I mean, it can't be around. It was definitely not real. It was.
No, I mean, these things are fly by night.
I'm trying to see if there was anything. I mean, these things it's gone. But anyway, my takeaway was I went to this big conference, and they do a lot of them in Florida.
Of course.
And so we went to one. I went to one, and
shocker that the MLM and timeshare capital of the world is Central Florida.
we go to this. I think I brought a buddy, and we went to this big conference, and it was like legitimate cult. You sit in this big hotel conference room, it's like always at a Hyatt. You go to this conference room and you sit down, and big stage, and then like this fog effects start coming out, and there's like it's dark, and the fog comes out, and there's laser beams firing off, and then the leader, the person who made this Max fucking drink, comes out, and everyone's like going nuts. They're like, they're freaking out, and then they bring out all the people who drive like Hummers and have like boats, who have the first people in who have like crazy downlines making millions of dollars a year. And you walk away like, yeah, I think I should start selling Max. I think I should sell these alkaline pills.
Did you feel like you should have?
I was too cynical, and like I knew right away that this can't be right.
Yeah.
This, you know what I mean? If it was like if it really prevented disease, there's no way that me and my friend Ryan are going to be selling it. Like, there's no way me and fucking Ryan Luker, who live together on Aragon Ave, are selling fucking pills on the side of the road.
That's so good.
There's no way that we're selling it out of the back of his Acura.
And no one was going to believe you when you show up.
Yeah, like I was a lifeguard, like I don't think that I had any reason to be selling alkaline to prevent disease. I knew that this was a scheme of some sort. So I never did it. I think I signed up, and like I never sold anything. I never even took in any of the products.
Did you pay money to get in?
Well, the way that they do it is you buy the product. That's one of the things I remember most, especially from this laser beam smoke show thing, is the guy comes out and he goes, you have to be the product. Which was basically like, in order for you to sell it,
myself?
in order for you to sell it, you have to take it. So that was like their way that they would get more sales.
Yeah.
So I bought the starter kit, which was all the pills, and you got to be the product.
So you became his customer.
I was definitely a customer. I was in someone's downline for sure.
How did it make you feel?
It did nothing. I didn't do anything. I was 21. I didn't need to be alkaline. What do you think? I was like floating down the streets of Winter Park. They're like, oh, there's Jiggy. He's hovering around the sidewalks. It did fucking nothing. I took his pill. It was probably like a multivitamin.
Do you think alkaline makes you levitate? Is that what you...
Yeah. I was Dua Looping it fucking down the road.
That's
And it did fucking nothing. It was these big horse pills. They were big. Max XL. I took the XL.
I bought into the internal like digestive scrub
Max XL
era where it was like you drank this sludge.
Ugh.
That it was like, oh, it dissolves right away in the water. It did not.
No.
And then you have to take these like foam pills that scrub your insides out. And I was
No.
convinced that was going to get me healthy.
No.
I didn't. It was just like a product I ordered online, and I was like, this is insane.
My takeaway from that was that these companies. Oh, I do see. I see the company now. I'm bringing it up because I see the old bottle that I remember now, and it might have been Max GXL, MAX GXL, MAX GXL. Maybe that was the name of the company. Yeah, I think this was it. Let me go to images. Is it still out
Business
there?
Opportunity, 2008. Yeah.
Yeah. This was it. Max GXL. The gluthon. Oh, I remember them saying this word all the time. Gluthonu accelerator. It was all such bullshit. This
Everything
was
I'm finding on it is behindmlms.com.
the gluthonu. I can't even say this word. I'm a bad reader. Gluthonidine accelerator. It's a red bread can. Max GXL. Man, I remember I had bottles and bottles of this shit. But you know what?
Max GXL. A miracle or
No.
pyramid scheme?
It was a pyramid scheme,
Of course it
for
was.
sure. The thing that I took away, honestly, though, from it is that people want to believe in something, and I think when I was in my early 20s, I'm not sure. I was too cynical. I think that was the college in me that was just like, yeah, this doesn't seem right, But it did make me feel like people like to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of people who end up in their 30s, 40s, especially 40s and 50s, who are like, work at a corporate job and they want something a little bit more. But more than anything, I think they want to belong to something. And I think that's where the cult aspect comes in, because I think people really want to be a part of a group. It's the team dynamic. It's why people follow sports so closely. They like to be in a room with people all rooting for the same thing. And I think these MLMs create that, where you feel they sell you on the entrepreneurial aspect of like, you can make as much as you want, which that gets into you. You feel like you can control your own destiny, but you also feel you're part of like a bigger team.
And the truth is, you can. You really could make a shit ton of money, but you have to be a scumbag.
You have
to
be
sign up your entire family and ruin put them into
friends.
financial hardships. Like, you have to fuck people over in order to do it. So you can, but will you is the real question.
I think any of these places, life insurance is in the similar bucket, where when you sign up for these MLMs, even when I was a kid, I was 21, they were like, the first people you go to are your friends and family, which is basically anyone who's in your phone could be a potential client,
Right,
which
exactly.
I remember hearing that and I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'd rather sign up a stranger. But they know that if you can jump on a phone call with someone, or you could text someone about something that you're doing, that you're going to get the most support from the people that
Right.
love you. And that sounds predatory. It sounds like you're just...
Because it is.
Yeah, it just sounds like you're trying to take advantage of people around you. And I think that was what threw me off. I was like, if this is like some miracle health thing that can prevent disease, I don't need my fucking Auntie Lori taking it. Like I can go. Anyone should be taking it. I
Yeah.
don't need my aunt doing it right away. You know, I don't need to sell her on it. It should be something that she should be able to buy. That was the thing I could never get over. Like, if this is such a health thing, why do I need to sell it? Why did she have to come to me?
And why do you keep telling me to get my friends to sell it? Why do you keep emphasizing me bringing on more salespeople? Shouldn't I be just doing the sales?
I'm so happy I went to that meeting because it really showed what it was all about, which is get as many people as you possibly can on board, and then with a product that has marginal science, and they have deep pockets. Like, some of these MLMs have like big money. Like, Amway is a huge one. They have the Amway Center in Orlando. I mean, some of them make so much money.
Mhm.
And it's pretty wild. Amway is different because it's like cosmetics, I think. I think they do like house
It's
products.
still an MLM.
It's basically Amazon, but you buy it from your neighbor.
I remember there was a lady that was a waitress when I was waiting tables once, and she brought this catalog in. She was doing Amway, and she was very much, oh, what's your favorite sports team? And I was just like, I don't know, the Eagles. Like, I didn't care, and she was very annoying. And she goes, oh, look, we have that in Eagles lunch pail. She goes, if you had an Eagles lunch pail, you'd want the Eagles one. And I was like, okay, I guess. She goes, yeah, it's cool, right? I was like, yeah. I was whatever. And then like 2 weeks later, she comes in with this. She goes, hey, it came in. I go, what? She goes, you said you liked it. You wanted it. I go, I did. What are you talking about? She was just like, oh, you like this? And then she took that as an order. And she would do that to everybody all the time. And they
So
finally had to get
weird.
rid of her because they were like, you're just, stop. You have to stop MLMing these people.
A lot of MLMs would creep into the workplaces
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And
That's
they
my
would.
side hustle.
Ugh.
Ugh.
There's one for women's cosmetics too.
One. It
there's-
works.
There's one that's like a French name. It's like Vivon some shit. I don't know.
Viva no money. Viva lose your money.
Next time you need lipstick, you gotta go to Catherine. That's the thing I can't get over. It's just anything.
Vorwerk? Is that it?
No, it's like some
Vorwerk?
other name.
Victoria Benleux?
No,
Okay. Well,
I think it's like a beauty product MLM. I can't find it.
I'm looking at all the V.
Well, it might not start with a V. I'm an idiot. Don't forget that.
I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting you're a self-proclaimed maroon.
Yeah. Oh, Mary Kay.
How is that French?
Mary
it's a real
was
French name. Mary Kay.
Mary was from France.
Mary
Forever
Kay.
Living, New Skin is another one. I think that it's just, especially in this day and age, you know, when MLMs could have been, they didn't exist, but if you were in the 1800s, for example, horse and wagony times, and someone's like, hey, by the way, you know, if you need lipsticks, we don't have a country store in this town. Hit me up and I'll get the lipstick for you.
I think
That would work.
I think the MLM originally was the snake oil salesman, just town to town selling bullshit in a jar and then leaving, and there's no one to return it to, except for you couldn't manage other people to do that with you because you're just on a horse and buggy,
Which was
riddled with syphilis.
That was the thematic. That's what the Say video with Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson
was
was
it?
thematically around a snake oil salesman.
Okay.
And you should check it out because it's a pretty good music video.
I love a good snake oil salesman. I think we as comics are snake oil salesmen.
And I guess in some ways.
Yeah. We're selling a persona that we've developed to make people feel good.
Sure. And
That's
who
what
do you hit up
snake
for tickets? Friends and
Me.
family.
And you go town to town,
Town to town.
and if you get piss somebody off or it doesn't work, the next day they're offended, guess what? You're in the wind, baby.
My elephant hats are kind of like my, it's like my lipstick.
There you go. Wow.
Wow.
Snake oil jiggy.
I thought I really evolved from
Nope.
those days, but all I did was be like, you know, those people on that stage, that could be me.
Yeah. You just became a snake oil comedian.
I do remember walking away from that convention being like, great staging.
How do you get those lasers? Are they rentals?
Fog effects? I need more fog effects in my life. There's a whole show could be completely changed with the fog effect. I love a fog effect.
Oh, I love fog.
I think, what do they call it? A haze.
Well,
you go
there's
to
several different. There's fogs, there's ice, and then there's haze.
Haze is great. You know, like when you're looking, the light kind of It just captures that
Mhm.
haze beautifully. I think it's the telltale of shooting a special or going to Broadway is that it's just that little bit of haze. I love it.
Yeah, it's important to see the light. You see the light through the air, or you see it on the stage, and it's all haze, baby.
I think it's beautiful. I love a haze. I wish I could have haze at every show.
I wish
We
you could
did.
have haze right now.
We did it. Yeah, we could haze this room.
That's a quick way to get an eviction.
We did. We did one of the first shows at the Summit City Comedy Club in Louisville.
Okay.
They just opened. It was like 2 weeks old, and we brought our own fog machine. Like traveled with it.
Who is
because,
this?
Me and Murr.
Oh, funny.
And we're like, well, we'll travel with our own fog machine so we can do a closing bit that we'll use it. Completely not worth it. It was
Of
like
course
a
not.
10-second bit that maybe could use fog.
And you got to get
but
this liquid on the planes.
Every single city we had to fly in fog juice that had to be landed at the place. Did you guys receive the fog juice? It was a whole thing. So one of the first weekends we tried it was at Summit City Comedy Club. They just opened. We put the fog machine out. It works. We go to the closing bit. The fog machine goes on. All the fire alarms go off in the building.
Of course.
It's the closing bit, and like we're not. It's like kind of done. The show's like kind of done, but everyone has to evacuate the building and wait outside for like an hour, and then there was a meet and greet that was supposed to happen that like kind of didn't happen, and then we're all trying to. I'm trying to hawk merch outside at the fire alarm,
That's so good.
and I went back there like 6 months later. I played it again, and the fog juice was still there in the green room.
No one wanted to touch it. They're like, I ain't touching this
Fuck
shit.
this fog juice. But the fire alarms are so sensitive. I've set off multiple fire alarms. Del Lago Casino in Syracuse, outside of Syracuse.
All from the close. And how many times how many times for that bit to not work do you go, you know what, maybe we stop doing this?
This was different. So my buddy,
you had multiple fog
you know
machine
my buddy
bits?
Mike Charette, comedian.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and Mike Charette played Del Lago, and they had just opened. They were like a month. They were open for like a month.
Comedy Club opens up, get the fog crew in here.
This is like a huge casino room, big casino theater, and they were comping everyone in. It was packed, and they and Mike's like, we had to take a megabus up there. So Mike's like, I gotta take a shower. So he goes in to take a shower in this brand new, beautiful green room,
Sure.
and he's in there for like 25 minutes, and the steam triggered the fire alarm. He was in there for so long that the steam triggered it. They had a fire alarm inside the green room shower.
How does steam trigger it? That's crazy.
So everyone has to evacuate the entire casino. Never mind the room. The entire casino has to evacuate, and we're in there like I don't know where to fucking go. So the people from the casino come, the police and everyone. They're like, "You guys smoking weed up here?" We're like, "Fucking no," and they're trying to find out what happened. Comes down, it was the shower. That the new
Well,
fire
they can't get mad at you
alarms-
for that.
They weren't mad at me. They weren't. They had me back.
Yeah, all right.
I'm actually playing there this weekend.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
But it was from the steam.
That's so weird.
And he's like in the shower. Little does he knows that there's thousands of people who have to evacuate. People were on heaters downstairs, had to leave the building.
Oh, that's like Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12 or whatever when
Yeah.
they have to can't.
I wish we had a heist plan. That would have been better.
That's so crazy.
But yeah, man. What an interesting world with these. I wish I could find one of those Max
A
GXL
bottle of it?
bottle. I bet I still have one somewhere in storage.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Bring one in for the next episode.
If I have one, I'll bring one in. I don't think I
So
have one
good.
here. I do have a storage unit in Orlando, which, by the way, that's a whole nother scam.
Bro.
I put stuff in storage.
You still have storage in Orlando?
Yo, yeah, for 10 years. I put stuff in storage. 2013, I got like a great deal. Public Storage is the name of the company.
Mhm.
It's like $33 a month. I'm paying $160 a month
Of
now.
course you are, and they're going to keep going up.
It's
if you went in
incredible.
right now, you'd probably get it for $30, but they keep going because they know it's your stuff, and you'll pay 10 years. Call it $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. That's $12,000.
The stuff in there is worth $300.
Yeah, I had one in Atlanta
It's
for
all-
7 years.
It's a storage locker of all Max GXL
Yeah.
products.
I had a storage unit in Atlanta when I moved here. I had it for 7 years, which equated to about $7,000, and 95% of it went to donation or the trash. I have like 2 boxes left of stuff that I kept. Insane.
I got to get it out of there, but I need someone to drive it back up to Boston to put it at my mom's house.
Nothing in there. It's not work. When's the last time you were there? It's all damaged. Fucked. But I'm telling you, go down there and throw it away. Nothing in there.
You think it's damaged?
Is it outdoor or an indoor?
It's indoor.
I had an outdoor.
It's air conditioned.
One.
Yeah.
Well, there was cobwebs everywhere. There was rat shit all over my stuff.
Oh God, I hope not. I hope not. Well, it's like I have family pictures in there. That's the thing I'm really worried about.
But that's 5% of everything in there.
Yeah, like
You're saving those Max GXL bottles.
There's probably
for
Max
nothing.
GXL bottles. There's also, I'm sure of it, an entire binder of like college work.
Yeah, probably.
Which at the time, like in 2000, I was like a couple years out of school. I'm like, I'm gonna need this essay on Foucault.
What happens if I need this for somebody to look at to prove that I'm a college graduate?
I have an entire box full of stupid college shit that can easily. I think somewhere in my mind, I'm like, my kids would want to look at this. My kids don't fucking care.
Maybe they will, and maybe you have it, but you don't need a $160 a month storage.
I think you need some examples of your life, but you don't need bins of it.
What is it? A 10 by 10?
I think it's even smaller than that.
Yeah,
I think it's probably 10 feet long by like 4 feet. It's like 40 square feet.
There's nothing in there that you need to keep. I'm telling you, man.
I got to get it out of there.
4 boxes. That's the rest. That's it.
If anyone knows anyone who wants to drive from Florida to Boston, that's the thing, dude. Honestly, if this storage unit was down the street, I would have taken it years ago. But I had to get it from Florida to Boston, and I need to drive it up. It's like one SUV full of stuff.
It's not even that much. I'm telling you, it's a trunk. Dude. I did this. It's nothing in there you're gonna want to keep. You're gonna go, the fuck am I keeping this for? You're going to realize that you spent $12,000 and you're going to end up with $50 worth of photographs. It's insane. It's just it's all scam. That's why the auctions are so huge.
I know.
For those storage units, because so many people abandon them because they're like, fuck this. None of this is worth it.
I have some of like my dad's artwork. My dad had like some,
yeah, sure. There's going to be some stuff.
There's some stuff that like I would want to keep, and it's a lot of family albums. It's worth it to know that I have the family, my pictures like when I was a kid and all that stuff. I'm happy that that's all there.
Sure.
But is it worth $160 a month? Absolutely not.
Zero.
I gotta pay someone to come do it. I hate to drive. I hate driving so much that I can't even fathom driving from Florida to Boston.
I'm telling you, probably get it in your carry-on.
I come back, it's one picture of me as a kid in a Max GXL bottle.
It's probably about as much as was in there.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody, to episode 6 of Fresh Towels. We really ran the gamut. Happy to have Mike back in one piece. We'll be back next week with another episode. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already on the YouTube. We got tens and tens of millions of subscribers, so don't be missing out. And yeah, we'll be back. Mahalo. Deuces.